All right, hello once again. Jeff Scott, formerly of Rankin Technical College, and as part of my YouTube channel, JPS-Jeff Teaches Programming, and in particular, the playlist, Jeff Teaches Programming-Python. I've been going through and doing a bunch of different programs that utilize the four basic data structures in Python, those being lists, dictionaries, tuples, and sets. And I wrote a payroll program both in an object-oriented way and in a non-object-oriented way with each one of those. So I'm going to do one more thing in here, but it's going to be a little bit different. And what I want to do is show you what I mean by that. Okay. Now I made this myself. It's a little crude, but I think it shows. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create an employee class. All right, and that employee class is basically going to be abstract. And what that means is I'm not going to create a type of an employee. Rather, as you can see underneath there, I'm going to have four types of employees. I'm going to have an hourly worker, a piece worker, a salaried worker, and a commission worker. All of them are children of employee. So this is the superclass. These down here are the subclasses. In addition, I'm going to have a payroll class, which is not really linked in here at all. All right, so this is what I hope to do in here. And now to show you in a little more depth and breadth of coverage that right now, if you know, I've got these files, you'll notice there's a few of them in here. All right, and it's in the OOP from scratch. So let me close this, and then let me reopen it. So I've just got that one open here. So you see there's a lot of files in here. But when you look, commission worker is empty, employee is empty, hourly worker is empty, payroll is empty, piece worker is empty, salaried worker is empty. So out of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 files I've got in there, the only one I have that's got anything in it is main. And well, I guess main's even empty. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here and I'm going to grab this. Copy it to the clipboard and paste it in. Now, before we do anything, I want to go over this. All right. Now, it looks a little funky on here because, of course, it was set up for Notepad++. So create a Python object-oriented program representing a payroll application for a company. Each employee at the company, all right, each employee has the following four pieces of information. So each employee has an employee number that should be unique, and it's an integer, a first name, which is a string, which should not be empty, a last name, which is a string, it should not be empty, and a gross pay. Now, the gross pay is going to end up being overridden by each of the employee types that are down here. What do I mean? Well, notice we have four types. All right, so we've got an hourly worker employee. They have an hour's work. This is the same stuff we've been doing with a range of 0. Let's just go nuts here. 0.00 through 84.00 and an hourly rate. And that's got a range of 0.00 through 99.99. And if the number of hours the person worked is less than or equal to 40, meaning they work no overtime, gross is just hours worked times hourly rate. Otherwise, if they did work more than 40 hours, they get their overtime pay at time and a half. All right. Then next, secondly, I have a piece worker class. All right. And it has two pieces of data in it, number of pieces with a range of 0 to 100. These are whole numbers. Can't make part of a piece is what I'm saying. And price per piece, which goes from 1 cent each to $1. Again, this is all arbitrary stuff. I just came up with these. All right. Then we've got a salaried worker. All right. And the salaried worker has a salary that they're paid per week. So they make 0 through $10,000. And again, just an arbitrary value. And their gross pay is just their salary. Finally, you've got a commission worker. And with that commission worker, all right, they have sales and a commission rate. Their sales can be $1 through $1 million. And their commission rate can be anywhere from 1% to, I think 33 is pretty high. Let's make that 25%. All right, and their gross pay is simply their sales times their commission rate. All right, as it says here, the program can use any combination of lists, dictionaries, tuples, or sets. I think I've got a list in here, and I think that's it. Also, we want to keep track of the total hourly gross pay, so all the hourly employees, total piece worker gross pay for all the piece workers, total salaried gross pay for all the salaried workers, and total commission gross pay for the commission workers. All right, so let's get this. Looks a little better, and so does this. There we go. So as far as the explanation, employee, again, is the base class. It's the parent. It's got the common attributes that the other 4 child classes have. Those being, again, all right, an employee number, a first name, a last name, and a gross pay. All right, so out of those 4 things, 3 are pieces of data, and gross pay is a method. Hourly, that should be hourly worker, piece worker, salaried worker, and commission worker. As it says here, these are subclasses of employee. So they're child classes, in other words. Where are we here? Okay. They each have to implement a calculate gross pay method, and I changed that around to look like this. As it says there, based on their specific rules that were shown above. Payroll is a separate class that, as it says here, will track the total gross pay for each employee type. And it'll process the list of all the employees that I have and calculate their, should really say here, gross pay, and it should also update the totals. All right. Now, to try to make this a little easier on myself, I created a list with 25 employees. I have 7 hourly employees, 6 piece worker employees, 6 salaried employees, and 6 commission worker employees. If you add all those up, that equals 25. All right. So this is what's going to go into main. Now we can come in here and we can, again, def main. All right, and I'm going to put some stuff there in just a minute. Down at the bottom, I'm going to say if underscore underscore name underscore underscore equal equal underscore underscore main underscore underscore. You've seen this umpteen times before. We're going to call main. Okay? All right, so we're going to have main down here. And what I want to show you as far as what is here, all right, is I've already gone through and created these 25 records. All right, so I've got them in here someplace. Are they in here? No. Are they in here? Yep. So there they are. In fact, I'm going to grab this. This is all of main right here. So we're going to look at it in just a second. Don't worry about it. We'll line everything up just a second. All right, so that looks good. Let's move all of these over. That should fix that. All right, so here's our 25 piece workers. I just came up with 25 names. So for the hourly, here are my 7 hourly employees. You can see I've got their employee numbers, first names, last names, hours worked, and hourly rate. All right, I've got 6 piece workers, and I've got their their employee number, their first name, their last name, the number of pieces they make, and the price they get per piece. Then I've got 6 salaried workers, and I've got their payroll number, their employee numbers, first name, last name, and their salary. All right, I guess there's actually one more. There we go. Finally, I've got the 6 commission workers. And for each commission worker, we have their employee number, their first name, their last name, the amount of their sales, and their rate. All right? Okay, now let's move this over. All right, now I'm getting an error here because I'm going to create a payroll class in a bit, but I'm not going to do it now. But what that's going to do is that's going to instantiate a payroll object called payroll. Then we're going to process, and that's going to process these. All right, right in here. Now, it's still giving me some, it says here, hourly is not defined. So we need an hourly class. Piece worker is not defined. So we'll need a piece worker class. Salaried is not defined. So we'll need a salary class. Commission is not defined. So we'll need a commission class. And it looks like I'm again missing a bunch of commas here. There. All right. So all that'll be fixed in just a bit. After we create the payroll object, we're going to call process payroll, which is going to look like this. We're going to pass in our list of employees right here. All right, then we're going to display all of our totals. All right, so I'm getting a bunch of errors here. If I run this now, of course, I'm going to get nothing but errors. So I'm just going to leave that alone. And what I'm going to do next here, is I'm going to come in and start writing. All right, I'm going to start writing my, in fact, I didn't do this before in the copy that I have, but I'm going to do it now. Okay, what do I mean? Well, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to come in, first let me do a save here, so save that. I'm going to come in and create a new file. And I'm going to call this, it's going to be a module. I'm going to call this constants.py. All right, and I'm going to create all my constants in here. All of them, doesn't matter what type. So these will be my program constants. And the first ones will be the ones you've seen, min hours equal 0.00, max hours equal 84.00, min h rate, min hourly rate equals 0.00, max hourly rate equals, I think we said 99.99, max non-OT, the most hours you can work without getting overtime is 40, our overtime rate, all right, that's going to be 1.5. So these will be the, instead of this, we're going to call this the hourly worker constants. All right, then next, we're going to have the piece worker constants. All right, and we'll put in here min pieces, and that'll be 0. And max pieces, that'll be 100. Those are both integer values. All right. And again, if I really want, I can line all this up so they're little soldiers. Okay. Next, I'm going to have the minimum price per piece. No. Let's go minimum P piece. So it lines up. So minimum price piece, and the minimum is going to be equal to 0.01 a penny. And the max PPIE, oh, hello. The max, come on. The max PPIECE will be equal to 1.00. So those are our piece worker constants. Next, we will have our salaried worker constants. And min salary is going to be equal to 0. And max salary is going to be equal to, what did we say? I think 10,000. All right, and again, since I'm a little squirrely about this, I want to line everything up. All right, so all that's lined up now. And finally, I'll need my commission worker constants. All right, there's 2 of them. No, there's more of them. Let's see. What did we say up here? So we've done hours worked, hourly rate. We've done number of pieces and price per piece. We've done salary. We need sales and commission rate. All right, so min sales is going to be equal to 0.00. Max sales is going to be equal to, what did we say? Knowing me, I probably made it 1,000,000 or something like that. And it looks like I did. All right, I'm not going to go back and line everything up again. I think it'll be fine. There. And we're going to have our commission rate. So min commission rate, and that'll be equal to, did we say 0? I don't remember. So it's 1% to 25%. All right. Oops. All right, everything should be lined up like little soldiers now. And I've got, again, 6 constants for my hourly worker, 4 constants for my piece worker, 2 constants for my salaried worker, and 4 constants for my commission worker. Let me do a file, save all for that. All right, let's go back in here to main. And I've got all this, so that's done. So right now, main doesn't need that, but I will need to import. So let's just start with employee. All right, so that'll be the first one that we put in here, okay? So I think we've got employee. So there's our employee class. Let's move this over, but keep it on the screen. There we go. So we're going to have here class employee. We will have the equivalent of our constructor, where of course we always pass in self, and we'll also need the employee number, the first name, and the last name. If we leave the first name off, in fact, let's do it for all 3 of these. I'm just going to check for blanks. So if there's nothing there for the employee number, we will raise a value error and say employee number cannot be empty. All right, let's copy this. And next we'll do the first name. And again, we'll say first name cannot be empty. And this will be last name. And we will say that last name cannot be empty. All right, so we've got all that done. And now we can start basically filling up our list. So self.emp number. So if we get down to here, we had something in, which has to be an integer for the employee number. We had something for the first name, which is a string. And we had something for the last name, which is a string. So we're now going to basically be filling all of this up, as I said. So we've got that. So self.emp number equals emp number. Self.first name equal first name. And self dot, whoopsie, self dot last name equals last name, and we're going to put in the gross pay, but just set it equal to 0.0. All right, move this one over too so they line up again like little soldiers. There we go. Now, if we were to come in here and try to run the gross pay method in here, we should get an error. This is an abstract class. All right, now let's go back in. Let me. All right, so how to create an abstract Python class. I don't remember if there's anything special we have to do for that or not. Give me a break. All right, it doesn't look like we're going to need to do anything special. Again, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think so. So def, this is calculate gross pay, which of course you have to pass self in for that. And I'm just going to put a raise here, not implemented error that says the superclass cannot implement this method, period, \n. Rather, the method must be implemented by the subclasses. Okay, and not that, it's a lot of text there, but you get the idea, hopefully. All right, and that should be it for an employee. All right, so file, save all. Okay, we've got the employee, we've got our constants, and we got our main. I'm going to leave all that up there, and again, I'm getting all these errors here. Let's see if we do hourly worker, if we can make those go away. All right, so again, this will be the next one. So this will be class hourly worker. And it'll need to get in employee. In other words, it is a child of employee. All right. What did I do for the employee here? Yeah, okay. Again, I'm trying to be consistent here with the way I'm writing this code. So this is class hourly worker, employee. All right, we're going to have self. We're going to have an employee number. We're going to have a first name. We're going to have a last name. We're going to have an hours worked. And we're going to have an hourly rate. Now, this is the first time you're going to see this, where what I'm going to do here is I'm going to call super.init._init. And I'm going to pass in the employee number, emp number, and I'm going to pass in the first name, and I'm going to pass in the last name. And in English, what that means is the parent, and remember the parent here, all right, the parent here is employee. So employee is going to handle the employee number, the first name, and the last name. I'll be responsible for these two. All right. So if not, this is the first time too, we're going to want to import our module in here, which we called constants. Import constants. Okay. So if not, min hours, do I have to say as C, and we'll say here C dot min hours, I guess I'll have to do it that way, is less than or equal to hours worked, is less than or equal to C dot max hours. All right. That's my range check. So again, range check on hours worked. So if either one of those is out of range, we will raise a value error that says hourly rate must be between, let's make that an F string, and we will say min hours, C dot min hours, and C dot max hours. Okay. Now we want to do the same thing, but we also want to do that, but we want to do that not just on the hours worked, but also on the hourly rate. So we'll range check on hourly rate. That should have said hours worked. All right. So that's going to handle, for lack of better words, all of my inputs. But when I get done, just like we did before, I have to come in and first say self.hours worked equal hours worked, and self.hourly rate equals hourly rate. All right. Next, I have to come in and I have to remember, I'm going to overwrite in here. I set up a calculate pay, but it's not doing a flaming thing here. We want to do that in here because we're going to do it different for each type of employee. So def calculate gross pay self. You've seen this before. If self.hours worked is less than is less than or equal to C.max non-OT, meaning straight time. So in other words, with this, no OT worked. So that simply is self.gross pay equals self.hours worked times self.hourly rate. All right, and I forgot my colon there. Else self.gross pay equals this is my C.max non-OT, so that's the straight time part of it. And that'll be and that'll be C dot in there too. All right, that's just doing my overtime calculation. Nothing, big there. And when I'm done, I want to return self.gross pay. Now let's see if that removed the 6 errors we had here. It did not. Hourly is not defined, so I guess I was wrong here. And I will need to come in here and say import hourly worker as HW, import piece worker as PW, import salaried worker as SW, and import commission worker as CW. Let's line these up a little bit. All right. So now I should be able to do this, hopefully, if I come in and say HW dot. Yep, there we go. So that'll fix those. Okay, there's our 7 hourly workers. So those errors are gone. I haven't done the piece worker class yet, and we'll do that in a minute. You can see these are still grayed out. This is not grayed out. In my time, I'm at 37 minutes. I should be able to get all of this done in an hour. At least that's my hope. All right. Now I'm going to do a little stealing here. This hourly worker, did I get an error in here? We have to also here import employee as emp. Probably that's emp dot. Okay. All right, I'm going to steal every bit of this and then make the changes accordingly. So this is hourly worker. Next, we're going to bring, up piece worker. Attempt to. All right, now I'm going to just make my changes in here. So this will be piece worker. And I still need the self, the emp number, and I do need to come in here just like before with the other one. I need to do those 2 imports. Okay, but now instead of hours worked and hourly rate, I will put in number of pieces and price per piece. And again, we will tell the parent to handle the employee number, the first name and the last name. Then we'll do a range check first on number of pieces. All right, so this will say number of pieces must be between min pieces. Oops, I don't know what I did there, but something. And max pieces. All right, so there's that check. And we also have to come in here and do a range check on the price per piece. right, let's fix the rest of this up. So, all right. Now I can come in there and add these two. So again, this will be number of pieces, and this will be price per piece. All right, to calculate the gross pay, this is very simple. This is just going to be self.gross pay is going to be equal to, because there's no checking I have to make in here, it'll be equal to self.number of pieces times self.price per piece. All right, then we will return that. All right, so that's that one. So we've got the piece worker done. Let's go back to main. Now I'll have to put a PW dot in front of each one of these. All right, so those are done. And I'm up to my salaried. So let's close our hourly. Let's close our piece worker. And we'll keep the other one open. So we're up to salaried here. This one is even smaller because there's only one extra field, and that is salary. So class salaried worker. Again, we will need, just like we did before, I will need to bring in this. All right, and we'll need in here emp.employee. Again, we will do our def underscore underscore init underscore underscore, and this time we will have self. We will have first name. We will have, oh, forgot the employee number. So the employee number, the first name, the last name, and the salary, which is the only one we have to handle in here. So again, we will do a super underscore underscore init underscore underscore to have the parent, which is employee, handle the employee number, the first name, and the last name. All right. I think we need a dot in there, and I think that's what's screwing that up. Here we go. All right, so in here, if not, C.min salary less than or equal to salary less than or equal to max salary. We need the emp in front of that, or C dot max salary. We will again raise a value error that says salary must be between, again, we'll make this an F string. Why it does that, but it does. So that's C dot min salary and C dot max salary. Okay. Self dot salary equals salary, and we have to also override again our gross pay method. All right, so there's that one. We've now completed 3 of these. All right, you can see I still have errors in here, but these will be coming out in a minute. So SW dot for each one of these. Lost my dot there. I don't know how, but I did. All right, these I'm going to do a little early. This will be CW dot. There is no CW right now. That's why I'm getting the error here. So okay. And actually, that's why I'm getting the error. So that's a W. So those are all good. Those are all working now. I have not yet created the payroll class. I'll do that in a minute. Okay. So we've got salaried workers, we've got hourly workers, and we've got our employee. Let's keep the hourly worker in here so I can grab this stuff. In fact, let's just grab all of this. We'll go over to, this is commission worker. We'll go over to the commission worker, and we're going to put this in here and then make our changes. And the commission worker has got, again, self, emp number, first name, last name, and they have sales, and they have commission rate. We're again going to tell the parent to handle the employee number, first name, and last name. Then we'll do a range check on sales, and we'll do a range check on commission rate. All right, let's remove this for now. All right, there's that one. Now we've got to do the same thing for the commission rate. And I guess it's the same thing, except it's C rate instead of H rate. That's kind of nice. Okay, then we have to do our gross pay, which again, it's very simple. It is just self dot sales times self dot commission rate. And then we want to return that. That's it. So there's that one. So we have now, as far as what we've got in here, we have written, starting at the top, we did main, then we did our constants, then we did our hourly worker, then we did our piece worker, then we did our salaried worker. Now we just finished our commission worker. So the only thing left in here is the payroll. So let's do that class right now. And again, that'll keep track of the total gross pay for each type of employee. Let me check my time one more time here. At 51, I'm going to try to type this in. I'm going to take a break and then I'll run this, provided there are no errors in the second part of the video, this in part 2. So commission, and we've got salary. All right, let's line these up, even though, of course, we don't have to do that. All right, that's our initialization. We're going to have 2 methods in here. The first method is going to be where we process the payroll. Now, we'll probably get an error in here because, again, I should have done this before. I don't need, this time, I don't need to bring in my constants, but I do need to bring this in. All right. All right, now I have to make my checks. If it's an hourly worker, and again, that'll have to be, I guess I'll have to bring all those in too. All right, again, let's line all these up so they look a little nicer. So this will be HW here. So if it's an hourly worker, again, I don't have to do this, but I am going to come in here and pretty this up a little. Or, and maybe in your opinion, making it more ugly. I don't know. All right, so that'll do all that. I've got one more method to write, and then I'm finished, I think. And that is to display my totals. All right. Now, I'm going to put $sign here, but I'm going to use a little bit of, so just put it in self dot total hourly gross pay. We'll put it 0.2F. All right, so that'll do it to 2 decimal places. You move this out of here. And let's make 3 more of these. So we've got total hourly, total piece worker. This will also be worker. Okay, this will be salaried worker. And finally, this will be commission worker. Again, let's line these up. All right, and this will be all right. Hopefully my errors that were in here now are gone. Still giving me this. Payroll is not defined. Didn't think I'd have to import that, but let's try it anyway. All right, so file, save all. I don't think I have any errors. All right, I am at 1 hour. Just for the heck of it, let's try to run this. So File, Save. I think everything's been saved. All right, it's giving me some errors in here. Has no attribute. Hourly. Oh, that should have been hourly worker, not hourly. That's okay. Let's fix those and then we'll take a little break here. So in main here, these should all be hourly worker. These are piece worker, but that should be a capital W, or I'm going to run into a similar type of problem that I just showed you. This is salaried worker. And this is commission worker. Hopefully, I fixed all those errors that I either had or was going to have. Let's try running it one more time. All right, I'm getting an error. And we'll take a look at that one once we get there, okay? I'm not worried about it right now. So, all right, like I said, I'm just over an hour. So I'm going to stop with this one right here. And we'll go back and try to debug it and then run it and get some actual work to it in just a couple minutes. So we'll stop the run.